Your brain wasn't designed to be interrupted 96 times a day, but that's exactly what's happening. And every time your phone buzzes, something inside your mind breaks just a little bit more. The problem, most of us think we're pretty good at multitasking. We answer texts while working, check notifications during conversations, and scroll through feeds while watching TV. We tell ourselves we're just staying connected, efficient, even. But here's what nobody talks about. Your brain doesn't actually multitask. It can't. What it does instead is switch, rapidly, violently, from one thing to another dozens of times an hour, and every single switch costs you something. Think about the last time you sat down to focus on something important. How long did it take before you checked your phone? 2 minutes? 5? Now think about how long it took to actually get back into what you were doing. That gap, that struggle to refocus, that's not a personal failing. That's fragmentation. And it's rewiring how your brain works. The science: when a notification arrives, your brain doesn't politely pause what it's doing. It fires up the same threat detection systems that evolved to keep you alive in the wild. Your amygdala lights up, cortisol spikes. Your attention snaps toward the interruption like it's a predator in the grass. Except it's not a predator. It's a text about dinner plans. But your brain doesn't know that. Not immediately. So it reacts first, thinks later. And by the time you realize it's nothing urgent, the damage is done. The task you were focused on, gone. The thought you were developing, vanished. Researchers call this attention residue. When you switch tasks, part of your brain stays stuck on the previous thing. Imagine trying to have a conversation while someone whispers your name in the other room, over and over. That's what's happening inside your head every time you glance at your phone. Now multiply that by 96 times a day. That's the average number of times people check their phones. But it's not just the checks, it's the anticipation of the checks. Your brain starts monitoring for notifications even when there aren't any. It's like keeping one ear always tuned to a radio that might buzz at any second. The result? You're never fully here. Not at work, not with your family, not even alone with your own thoughts. The turning point. Here's the part that caught me off guard when I first learned it. The notification doesn't even have to be real. Studies show that just having your phone visible, even face down, even silent, reduces your cognitive capacity. Your brain knows it could buzz, so it reserves mental energy to monitor it. Energy you could be using to think, create, or actually pay attention to your life. It's like trying to read a book while someone stands behind you, not saying anything, just breathing. Technically, they're not interrupting you. You're not really reading either. We've trained our brains to be permanently on guard, and the cost isn't just distraction, it's deeper than that. Real-life impact. Let's talk about what this actually feels like. You know that fog you feel by mid-afternoon? That sense that your brain is tired even though you haven't really done anything hard? That's fragmentation. Your brain has been switching contexts so many times that it's exhausted, not from deep work, but from constant shallow pivoting, or the way conversations feel harder lately. Someone's talking to you, and you hear the words, but you're not really there. You're thinking about the email you need to send, the message you just saw, the thing you were doing before this. Your attention is scattered across a dozen half-finished thoughts. Then there's sleep. You lie in bed, and your mind won't stop. It's like a browser with 47 tabs open, each one loading something different. That's not insomnia in the traditional sense. That's a brain that's forgotten how to close the tabs. And over time, your ability to think deeply starts to atrophy. Deep focus is a skill. And like any skill, if you don't use it, you lose it. The more you train your brain to expect interruptions, the worse it gets at ignoring them. You start to feel restless when things are quiet, uncomfortable with stillness, like you're supposed to be doing something, checking something, anything other than just being present. This isn't about being dramatic. This is about recognizing that the way we interact with technology is fundamentally changing how our brains operate, and most of us have no idea it's happening. What actually helps? So what do you do about it? Not in some distant, perfect future, but starting today. First, create notification-free zones. Not forever, just specific times. Maybe the first hour after you wake up, maybe during meals, maybe the last hour before bed. Turn off notifications, put the phone in another room, and let your brain remember what it's like to exist without monitoring duty. Second, batch your checking. Instead of responding to every ping in real time, decide when you'll check messages. 3 times a day, 5 times, whatever works, But make it a decision, not a reflex. This isn't about being unreachable, it's about being reachable on your terms, not the phone's. Third, practice single tasking. Pick one thing. Do only that thing for just 10 minutes at first. No music, no background video, no second screen. Notice how uncomfortable it feels. That discomfort is your brain adjusting back to what it's supposed to do. Focus on one thing at a time. Fourth, notice the urge before you act on it. You'll reach for your phone dozens of times today out of pure habit. Before you pick it up, pause. Just for 2 seconds. Ask yourself, do I actually need to check this? Or is this just a reflex? Most of the time, it's a reflex. And just noticing that starts to break the pattern. Fifth, rebuild boredom tolerance. Wait in line without pulling out your phone. Sit in your car for 30 seconds before driving. Let yourself be bored. Boredom isn't the enemy. It's the space where your brain does maintenance, consolidates memories, and comes up with ideas. We've eliminated it almost entirely, and we're paying for that. None of this requires perfection. It just requires intention. Long-term consequences versus small changes. Let's be honest about what happens if nothing changes. Your attention span will keep shrinking. Your memory will get hazier. You'll feel increasingly disconnected from your own life, like you're watching it happen instead of living it. Relationships will suffer because presence is the foundation of connection. And you will have less and less of it to give. Creativity, deep thinking, problem solve. All of that requires sustained focus. And if you never practice sustained focus, those abilities dim. Not overnight. Slowly. So slowly you might not notice until years have passed. But here's the good news. The brain is adaptable. Neuroplasticity works both ways. The same way it learned to crave interruptions, it can unlearn it. The same way it got trained into fragmentation, it can be trained back into focus. Small changes compound. Every time you choose presence over distraction, you're building new pathways. Every notification-free hour is practice. Every moment of single tasking is training. You don't need to become a monk or throw your phone in a lake. You just need to reclaim small pieces of your attention consistently, over time. Your brain is the most sophisticated piece of hardware in the known universe. It can write symphonies, solve impossible problems, and hold the people you love in vivid detail decades after you have seen them, but it needs one thing to do any of that: uninterrupted space. Every notification is a choice. Not just about whether to look, but about what kind of mind you're building. One that's fragmented, reactive, and exhausted. Or one that's focused, intentional, and fully alive. The screen will always buzz. The question is, will you always answer? If this shifted how you think about your relationship with your phone, hit the like button. And if you want more videos that help you understand how your brain actually works in the modern world, subscribe. I read every comment, so let me know. What's your biggest struggle with notifications? Let's figure this